What's going on, everyone? I'm the Intel, and today we're going to talk about Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, the newest entry in the long-running Borderlands series, which was met with positive reviews and reception from fans, critics, and even myself. But nowadays, Wonderlands is full of controversy and criticism, suggesting that maybe we could have jumped the gun a little, as it seems Wonderlands' issues have popped up in its endgame content. Anyway, let's jump into our first topic on what is wrong with Tiny Tina's Wonderlands. Our first issue with Tiny Tina's Wonderlands is the Chaos Chambers. The Chaos Chambers were a cool idea, and it's actually been something people have been asking for a while. Kind of a dungeon system that you can just endlessly go through. You know, it seems like a good idea. But the problem with the Chaos Chambers is they're fun. They are fun for a bit. They get really, really repetitive. Now, you could say farming a boss for an item could be repetitive. At the very least with farming, the excitement that you get after you've been farming for like an hour or two just to get that one item, it just makes it so worth it. You've been farming for so long and you finally get that drop. The Chaos Chambers, you really just kill tons of small little mob enemies and then go to the next area and repeat. That's all you really do in the Chaos Chambers. And the best way to get legendaries in Wonderlands is playing the Chaos Chambers, so it kind of feels like you're almost forced to play the Chaos Chambers, and you have to compete with RNG, so if you're looking for the liquid cooling legendary, for example, you're gonna be stuck playing Chaos Chambers for maybe a really, really long time. And the Chaos Chambers are the only way to go up the Mayhem or Overpower levels of Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, which are the Chaos levels. The only way to go up those levels is by playing the Chaos Chambers. There's no alternative if you don't like the Chaos Chambers. Next is dedicated farming. Dedicated farming is possible in Wonderlands, but it's just not worth your time. You can farm certain bosses to get certain weapons, but it just takes so long to get the weapon you want, whereas if you went on the Chaos Chambers and finished one of the portals and you can spin the wheel, you might get the weapon you want a bit faster doing it that way. Because usually in Borderlands games, dedicated farming is kind of the big thing of Borderlands. You farm a boss on, and finally get that weapon, like farming Savage Lee in Borderlands 2 for a double penetrating unkempt Harold, or farming Bunker for a Sham, or whatever you want to do. It's kind of the big, kind of almost identity of Borderlands. And dedicated farming in Wonderlands, I don't think I've seen anyone do it in a while. Because dedicated farming is just slower and less useful than doing the Chaos Chambers. Which means doing the Chaos Chambers is kind of like you're playing the early Borderlands free, where you're basically relying on RNG to get the legendary you want. Now, loot luck. Loot luck, in my honest opinion, is the worst mechanic they have ever introduced to the Borderlands series. In my opinion, having to collect hundreds of collectibles just so I have a good chance of getting a legendary is a horrible mechanic. I really hated this mechanic, because it felt like there was no point killing a boss and farming it or farming the Chaos Chambers if I don't have all the dice, because what's the point? 40-50% less chance to get a legendary. So I have to go out, find hundreds of dice, and then do it. Like, I just don't like getting collectibles in games full stop, and having to collect hundreds of these collectibles just so I have a better chance to get legendaries really annoyed me in Wonderlands. And this is a mechanic I would love to see they get rid of in future entries, and I'd love to see them get rid of it in Wonderlands altogether. Next up is the DLC. The DLC for Wonderlands is some of the worst I've ever seen in a game. The DLC for Wonderlands would be great if it was free, because for free content updates, the content they're adding is fun. I would actually say it'd be some really good, maybe some of the best free content updates we've ever gone for a Borderlands game, because there's new weapons, a new area, and it's small enough, but it's all for free. But for a season pass that costs $30 or £25, that is not acceptable. It is priced way too high because some of the early DLCs have content that can last you only an hour or two. Like in 2 or 3 hours, you can finish the entire of the first DLC. It's ridiculous for a season pass that costs $30 or £25. But I will say the DLC is getting better. The recently released DLC free is definitely the best so far. There's more content, there's more weapons, there's more everything. But it's still nowhere near worth paying the full asking price of $30. Now, I want to discuss the future, and what Gearbox can actually do to help bring Wonderlands back. The first thing I think they could add to Wonderlands to help kinda bring players back is another endgame activity, which would be takedowns from Borderlands 3. If you remember the takedown at the Maliwan Black site, or the Iridian takedown, these were fun. They were fun. They were something challenging. There was a raid boss at the end. They were fun to do, but they weren't the most popular content, I think, among veteran fans of the series, but I still think they were fun content. The Dungeons and Dragons kind of theme is perfect for this. have some big cool monster at the end, a big cool raid boss, a cool enemy, cool storytelling. I think there's tons they can do to make takedowns in Wonderlands really good. Another thing I'd like to see introduced and changed is loot luck. I think loot luck could become optional, giving the player a choice between classic and new, meaning you could choose classic, which is just how Borderlands has always been, and maybe your loot luck levels up with the chaos levels, kind of like Borderlands 3 with the mayhem levels, or you can select the new mode, which is where you find all the collectibles and then you don't have to go up the chaos levels. Another thing is the chaos levels themselves. I think they could transfer between characters, such as if you make a character, get chaos 50, then you can make a new character, and they would also have the ability to just start at chaos 50 once they hit the level to unlock the chaos chambers. Or they could also shrink it down from chaos 1 to chaos 10, similar to the mayhem levels and OP levels, how you have OP 1 to OP 10 and mayhem 1 through 10. And big, massive free content like the Revenge of the Cartels could also be a really good idea. Revenge of the Cartels was a major turning point for Borderlands 3. I think a lot of people may agree that Revenge of the Cartels, once that released, Borderlands 3 felt amazing. Almost all the additions we ever wanted to the game were introduced, the content was good, Revenge of the Cartels, the legendaries were good, dedicated farming was back, it was great. I think Wonderlands could use something like that, a Revenge of the Cartels 2 you might even say, obviously in the Wonderlands theme. And that's about all I've got to say about what's currently wrong with Wonderlands. Of course, you got some of my own ideas for the future on how Gearbox could help bring Wonderlands back from its currently pretty poor state. Anyway, thank you for watching. If you've enjoyed this video, a like and a subscribe would be greatly appreciated, as we are very close to 1,000 subscribers. Thank you for watching, and have a lovely day.